This is more of a cartoon diary than a sketchbook, I'd say, from 2 trips. One skiing with some friends to Austria, my first time skiing, so it was a lot of fun, and I was lucky I didn't break anything. So I, as you can see, did a kind of sketch cartoon from each day. It was a good holiday, actually. Bit of arm wrestling going on there. We went on to the bobsleigh run. That was interesting. Looking for the house of ill repute. I don't think we found it. I'm starting to push myself a little more there, so that's right. I slipped in the shower and knocked the whole door frame out. Poor old Ken dislocated his knee, so we had to be rescued. It was the last run. It was a little bit disconcerting as we were up on the mountain in the mist and it was starting to get dark, but luckily they found us. It was the party afterwards while Ken was in the hospital. An Austrian fash. We were dressed in weird clothing. And then this is the second holiday. Myself and my friend Graham took off in my Bond bug on a trip to France, Belgium and Holland. We didn't get far and the Bond blew its head gasket. So we had to make our way back to the UK. This was in Le Havre, waiting for the ferry that night. I slept on a bench, while Graham slept in the little Bond bug. And then it took us a long time to get home because we could only drive so far and the Bond was overheating. Let it cool, top up with water, so on. But undeterred, we grabbed some bicycles and we took off again. Leg two to Holland. Going through London, Graham lost his tools in the traffic, and then we ended up in Holland and ended up somehow on the motorway. We managed to get off. So these are just silly little cartoons to do with the trip. Graham got sick. That day everything was closed. It was some kind of holiday, so it took us a while to be able to get some money. So we were living on bread and water. Had to cycle a long way without sustenance. Punctures. Soup with some old people. I think they thought we were down and out. They took us to their home and gave us some soup, which was very nice of them. Rain was getting worse. Another puncture. Sleeping in a house that was being worked on. We were students. We were roughing it. A couple that we met that had their names Exchange and Mart, which made us laugh because there's a publication in the UK that's called Exchange and Mart. Still roughing it. A buckled back wheel. This big cycle repairman who looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger repaired it. Graham suffering with the raging buttocks of fire. then he was so weak I ended up towing him for miles. So I ended up with the Raging Buttocks of Fire. Then we made it to our friend Fonz's house and had a very nice time there with him and his friends. And all the beautiful Dutch ladies down on the beach. And of course, how can you not go to Holland without a trip to the red light district? Graham more interested in what was on television. We went to a beautiful old cinema to watch Edward Scissorhands. A night of slideshows, of trips with Fonz and his friends and their funny little sayings that made us laugh at the time. A Dutch barbecue. And then the great expense of the trip on the ferry home. That's the end of that little book.